I cannot resist the sight of a yellow reduced sticker when I go to the supermarket. I'm like a moth to the flame. This whole boneless loin joint is not what I went to the shops for, but I couldn't resist grabbing it to try out cooking it on the barbecue. I had great fun with it, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to test out a few little techniques I've been wanting to try to get the perfect crackling. So another video and another trip to Morrisons. I know it looks like I go to Morrisons all the time, but actually Aldi's my main shop. I just went to pick up some of this charcoal, but I couldn't resist the clearance section, because I never can. And I regularly see these whole boneless loin joints reduced. I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. This one was £7.9p down to £3.53, and I just couldn't resist it. So I'm going to have it for my tea/dinner/supper, depending on where you're from. Back home, and it's time to get this joint prepped. Now, when you get a really cheap piece of meat like this, it's a perfect time to do some experimentation, because if you mess it up, it doesn't really matter. You've only lost £3. So for this cook, I'm going to see if there's an easy way I can get some decent crackling without having to spend ages doing it. Now, there are hundreds and thousands of videos online of how to get the perfect crackling, and I've watched a lot of them, and it's all about prepping the day before, leaving it in the fridge overnight, poking little tiny holes in it with toothpicks, putting vodka on it. There's thousands of ways, but I haven't got time for any of that, so I'm just going to cover the whole thing in lots of salt and see what that does. I figure if I salt it heavily 2 or 3 times, it will remove all the moisture and I'll get lovely crackling. Let's see how we do. So while I was distracted at the supermarket by the pretty little yellow reduce labels, I did remember to pick up my charcoal, so I'm going to use it to completely fill up my chimney starter. If you don't yet have a chimney starter, I would thoroughly recommend you get one. They are an absolute game changer when it comes to lighting your charcoal. Just put a couple of firelighters underneath, light them up, and then place the chimney back on top, and it will slowly ignite all of those coals for you, taking all of the effort out of lighting your barbecue. And while I'm waiting for that to light, back to the kitchen. This skin has now had about 20 minutes with all that salt on, so I'm going to take a kitchen paper towel and dab off all the moisture. As you can see, loads comes out, so I'm pretty happy with the process so far. With all that moisture now dried off and most of that salt brushed away, I'm going to put a second layer of salt on to draw out any extra moisture that's in there, and I'm also going to cook it with this salt still on to see if that helps. Around 25 minutes after it was lit, my chimney starter is now ready to go because the coals on the top have started burning. I'm just going to pour these out into my charcoal baskets, but if you don't have them, just bank it on the side of your barbecue, and you don't have to use a Weber Master Touch. Any barbecue with a lid will do. Just set up the charcoals on one side and have an open side on the other. This is your hot zone and your cool zone, and will allow you to cook using indirect heat. Just pop the grill back in, close the lid, and adjust the vents so they're about halfway open on the top, which will hopefully settle the temperature on the barbecue to somewhere between 180 and 200 degrees. And on the bottom vent, we're going to go for the 3rd hole. And now that second covering of salt has had another 15 minutes or so to hopefully draw out a bit more moisture. I'm going to pat it down again with a paper towel. Don't know why I keep saying paper towel, that's very American. Kitchen roll. And then it's time to barbecue this pork up a little bit by putting on some barbecue rub. You don't have to put on any rub if you don't want to, you can just put on some salt and pepper, but I'm going to use some homemade barbecue rub. Just give all the sides a good covering, but not the top with the salt on. And if you've knocked off some salt like I have, I'm just going to replace it a little bit here. And I'm going to make sure every little bit is covered in salt for my test. It's super important that you don't overcook pork loin because it can become very dry. So I'm going to use my Ninja wireless thermometer to monitor the internal temperature of the pork. As is usually the case in barbecue, we're going to cook to temperature, not time. So it's really important to know what that temperature of the meat is. Now that my barbecue has had time to build up a little bit of heat, it's ready for our joint of pork. Now, I figured that the skin wants as much heat as possible to give it the best chance of crackling it up, so I'm going to put it skin side down, just slightly into the cool zone, and then just replace the lid with the vents on the same side as the meat, so it draws the hot air over. So checking the Ninja app on my phone, the ambient temperature in the barbecue is 183 degrees, so absolutely spot on for where I want it, and I've set my target temperature for 63 degrees Celsius. After about 30 minutes into the cook time, I decide to flip it round so that one side doesn't get more done than the other to give me a more even cook. You can see some of that salt is coming away, but I figure this is fine. after exactly 1 hour and 10 minutes cooking time, my app tells me that the pork is done and hitting 61 degrees. Now I want a second opinion from my handheld thermometer, which agrees with it, so I'm happy for this to come off. It's going to go up another couple of degrees while it's resting. And now the moment of truth. Has my test worked? Can you do crackling really easily in half an hour? Oh no, you can't. Wow, that has not worked at all. That has not crackled up in the slightest. I mean, it kind of looks dry, but that's just chewy under there. Ugh. Okay, test failed. Don't try this technique. The pork is cooked beautifully. No, that's really nice. I'm very happy with that. It's just no crackling on it. So I guess there's nothing for it but to just shove it over the coals and see if I can get something going. I mean, I know you can deep fry pork rind, so maybe this will work. Okay, well, it's not working. I mean, there are bits of crackling on there, definitely. There's still quite a few chewy bits, but I might get a few good pieces. And how did it turn? It's burnt. Okay. Well, to be honest, I quite like the taste of a bit of burnt fat. Love burnt fat on my bacon, but yeah, to be fair, this is a bit of a fail here. Pretty sure most people would just say that's burnt. Still, you can't win them all, and I do have a lovely joint of delicious pork. So I still get to eat tonight, which sometimes doesn't happen when I do these tests. And it was such a cheap piece of meat, it was definitely worth rolling the dice on. Which I guess is my point here. Go out, grab yourself some cheap meat, experiment with it, play around, you'll have great fun, and some of it will turn out absolutely delicious. And some of it a little burnt. So I still have high hopes for the inside of this pork, so let's get it inside and sliced up. Now, if you have a proven technique that you can do in about half an hour to get yourself perfect crackling every time, I would be very excited to learn about it, and I may even feature it on this channel. Part of me thinks if I had cranked the heat up to maybe 250 at the end of the cook, perhaps that would have done it. I've done something similar before in an oven, which had pretty good results. Or maybe I cooked the crackling direct like I did, just a little bit further away from the coals so it doesn't burn so much. But I don't know, let me know what you think. I'm going to carve this joint skin side down so that it's easier to carve and cut it off in roughly 1/2 centimeter slices. Pork loin is a very lean piece of meat, which is why you don't want to overcook it. 63.5 degrees Celsius is the official safe temperature that you can eat pork at. You don't want to go too much higher than this with a pork loin. You may notice while I'm carving this, the chopping board annoyingly keeps sliding all over the place, which is very annoying and not very safe, so I'm going to use a little trick where you get a damp tea towel, put it underneath your chopping board, and then it will be stable as a table, which has the dual benefit of looking slightly better on camera and ensuring that I don't accidentally lose a finger. Remember, if your pork is slightly pink in the very centre, that is not a problem. As long as you've hit that internal temperature of 63.5 degrees, it'll be perfectly safe to eat. And looking at my results, I'm pretty happy. Got a bit of a smoke ring, still looking nice and juicy, hasn't dried out. I can't wait to get stuck in. Now, this meat was obviously reduced for a reason. It had to be eaten today, so we're just going to put together a really simple mini roast dinner. Well, roast dinner might be a little bit generous. It's peas, roast potatoes and gravy. But excitingly, my wife did an experiment with the roast potatoes, doing a new way to see if they'd turn out any good. And they turned out absolutely awful. You could barely eat them. So I'm not the only one to mess up today. But you know what? No matter what you do to your meal, everything is always fixed with a bit of gravy. And for a meal that costs just over £1.50 per person, plus leftovers, I'm pretty happy with this. Now, if you'd like to see some videos of me cooking barbecue food and not messing it up entirely, then click on one of these two videos next.